Welcome, ladies and gents. We are here with a very special edition of Fit for Life Radio. This is the SpongeBob edition, as your host, Gary is here with our special guest, Patrick. So, grab your kids. This is going to be...
Maybe don't grab your
Maybe,
kids.
no.
Let's maybe leave the kids out of this.
Just grab them for the
My
SpongeBob
producer's
part.
saying no on that.
Yeah, he's giving me the cut.
Yeah. No kids.
But yeah, we're here with the regular crew, and then we have our guest Patrick Burns with us, who was a trainer at Coastal Strength and Fitness, and now he left us for Miami for the sunshine and bikinis.
All
Patrick.
the bikinis.
So you want to say hi to the people, Patrick?
Yeah, how you doing, guys? My name is Patrick, and I used to be a coach at Coastal Strength and Fitness. Great place, great coaches, great guys. If you do not know them, listen to the podcast and get to know them. I moved down to Miami in May, end of May, and I've been working and coaching at another facility down here. More of a corporate facility, but still, nonetheless, just another step in my career with health and fitness. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, so we're gonna chop it up. We got a couple topics we want to talk about today, and one is, so Patrick, I think a lot of people think, obviously you're a trainer, we're trainers, that working out and everything is just comes easy, but really, just like anyone else, it's all about habits, right? And kind of what your current lifestyle is. And I know you mentioned, so for those that don't know, Patrick just graduated college. He was a soccer player, and then obviously moving and getting a job, a whole new environment. You mentioned how you struggled, like you were losing a ton of weight and all this. Mm-hmm. Obviously, because you probably weren't used to that athlete, all you can eat cafeteria and everything. So talk a little about kind of how, like, when you have that complete change in environment, maybe some of the struggles you kind of dealt with and had to face.
Yeah, definitely. So it's challenging in itself because I've always been an extremist my entire life. Everything I've taken to extreme levels, being an athlete, traveling an hour and a half my whole life just to get to practice. My closest home game or whatever was an hour and a half away. So I've always just been, everything I've ever done, nutrition, working out, it's always been to a different level. So kind of having to transition away from that and just being like a normal person, not having anything competitively to train for and dedicate myself to has been fairly difficult for me. It's been a tough transition. Like Gary mentioned, kind of nutrition, training, it almost took a back seat. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of weight. My training suffered severely, and it's not something that I planned or I wanted to happen. It's just I was kind of for a while. To be honest, a little bit lost. I'm like, gosh, what am I training for? Why am I training? I don't have a game next year. I don't have a game next week. So it was tough for me. And, ultimately I just kind of realized, this is something I need to find sustainability in and, train the rest of my life. Obviously, this is my career. But for me, it was just difficult knowing and understanding that that's kind of it for sports. There's really nothing else that I need to train for at this current moment that's going to cause me to, be able to eat whatever I want and all this different stuff. I have to, find structure in what I'm doing. And I can't just stuff my face until I'm full because obviously, I'm not burning that amount of calories like I used to.
Yeah, I think that's like the plight of an ex-athlete, especially a collegiate athlete. Mm-hmm. If you look at anybody who grows up in competitive sports or they just have, done things like that for a long time, they're in that extreme mindset, I have to go 100% and you can eat whatever you want and you're training crazy hard because you have that, all right, we'll have a game, I have to play well for this season coming up, and then being lost right when you come out. I mean, saying when I stopped playing football in high school, I had the same thing happen. It's just why am I in the weight room? And I think a lot of people definitely go through that. So what what have you done, I guess? Have you changed anything? Do you still train the same way you did when you were in college, or have you shifted since you've kind of gone towards more of a sustainability approach?
Yeah, things have shifted definitely. Since I started working out, to be honest, like my style of training, if I'm working out by myself, it was mostly just like, a bodybuilding style of training. I was getting a pump,
Mm-hmm.
because I was always and constantly being forced to do like all this different stuff by movement exercises and like power cleans and all these different, form things that I never really did on my own, because I had strength conditioning coaches like forcing me to do these things. So now that I don't have anyone doing that, I find myself, my workouts aren't really bodybuilding anymore. I'm doing tons of different stuff. I'm just working on movement. I'm working on my mobility. I'm just moving better. I feel good right now, and I think that's at the end of the day what I'm aiming to do. I just want to feel good. I just want to move good. But yeah, my training style has absolutely changed. I'm not, smashing heavy weights. I'm not training like a bodybuilder because I'm not a bodybuilder. I never have been a bodybuilder. It's just, a phase, and I'm right now. I'm kind of just, working out to enjoy working out. To be honest with you.
Do you have any favorites?
Well, right now I've been just doing a lot of power cleans, to be honest. A lot of hand
Yeah.
cleans, power cleans. Yep. And I've been working on my shoulder. I have an ongoing shoulder injury that's been bothering me some, so it's
You
kind of
hurt
dealing with
yourself
that.
in
Is
the
it
game, right?
like
Like,
Yeah.
from that one fucking kick that you
From
got?
that
Like,
from that one injury, man. It wasn't a
Yeah.
kick. It was I got tackled basically. I got my legs taken out from under me, and when I landed on my shoulder, and caused an AC joint separation in my shoulder. And since then, it's never been the same.
I think
So.
that's the wrong kind of football.
I know. It sounds like it, huh?
Although soon, the
Yeah.
American football is basically gonna be football.
I know.
yeah.
So you mentioned how you're not training for anything and trying to find you can almost have to find that like acceptance of just the process. This is
Yeah.
something we've been talking about. We were planning on doing a podcast in the future. Is finding basically validation in a way with maintenance being the goal.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, and I think you mentioned a good point, kind of like, how, like, you're not a bodybuilder. And at the same time, like, bodybuilding has some great components about it, like, there's a focus on form and movement quality. And then, but if you're training for the sport of bodybuilding, it gets taken to the extreme, where then you just do so much volume and you just start, like, really trying to isolate stuff. And which is all, like, you have to do that for the sport. But for the average person, it's not needed. Whereas, so back to the goal of maintenance, most people, like, you just came out of, high level, college sport playing soccer. Like you're the most athletic for the most part you're ever going to be, and you're naturally an athletic guy anyways. Whereas, like, I mean, you can make yourself better, but in general, like, any sport you choose to do is going to come with risk and the risk of injury, right? Like, you could go do CrossFit, you could go do, some super high level fringe sport and push it. Or you can also say, hey, like, I want to train for the long term and maintain what I am right now. That, what are you, 24, 25 years old?
I'm 22.
22. And basically, like, maintain that for the long. Like, if you can do the same stuff you can do now when you're 44, 42, like, dude, that's amazing, right? And I think a lot of people forget that, and they think they always need something like spectacular to train for. But in actuality, like, training to maintain in a way there's a lot of merit in that.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, like, especially when you're still younger in your 20s, like you have a lot of potential. Like, you'll be able to gain strength, and like you said, you're working on power cleans. Like, you can push that.
Yeah.
But eventually, like, what I see, then people get in their 30s and then eventually 40s, and they still think they're 20, and that's when a lot of problems arise.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's the fun part about training is, like, in a way, like, you got to make some mistakes and learn, and there's so much different things that it can be overwhelming to kind of pinpoint down to what you enjoy the most,
Yeah, absolutely.
So one thing I know with that, so like you said, you're training down in South Beach at the Equinox, and one-on-one, right?
Yep.
So, and one thing we always talk about is how most people, their goal, right, is to ultimately look better, right? They want to look better so that they feel better, have more confidence. And in today's world, it was funny. I was on my walk this morning, and I walked past this little gym that changes, like, I swear it changes every 6 months, like different little franchises.
Yeah.
And it's always like the fad stuff. Like when I first moved out here, it was like a little group training TRX. Everything was TRX, you know?
Yeah.
And then I noticed that it's kind of changed names, and it looks like they got some new equipment in, and now it's basically set up kind of like an Orange Theory. Like, you know, that back and forth of cardio machine to, like, you know, little floor crunches and back. And it's just, like, blows my mind because, like, it's all just faddish stuff, right? Like, it's just different ways of kind of getting your heart rate up, which is fine. Like, if you just want to, like, improve your conditioning, and you want to, you know, break a sweat, kind of get those endorphins going. But ultimately, the thing that's been around for like decades is strength training, resistance training in some form, right? Mm-hmm. So you want to maybe talk about how obviously you know how we train people at Coastal, and again, like we're not anti anything, like we use everything, but the base and foundation, especially if anyone who says their goal is like, I want to look better, is strength training, you know? So, and I'm sure, like, we actually haven't talked about this, but I'm pretty confident that that's the base of how you train your clients down in South Beach, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, if someone wants to look better, and you guys obviously know this, but, you know, for those who are listening that don't really know, if you want to look better, you know, one of the biggest aspects of looking better is getting stronger. Resistance training, you know, it's pretty simple, you know, it's straightforward, and it's been around for years since training and, you know, and improving a physique has, you know, developed into an actual thing. This has been, you know, the primary way to do that. You know, resistance training, strength training, and that's how I train down here as well. You know, that's how I'll always train my clients. It's simple. There's no need to overcomplicate anything. You know, sure, these fads come and go, but at the end of the day, you know, I do what works. You know, strength training, resistance training, and, you know, focusing on getting stronger and, you know, movement patterns that actually work, you know. So that's where I'm at currently with my training. And, you know, most of my clients in South Beach, you know, it's an interesting demographic, to say the least. I'll kind of leave that there.
Just like a little bit different than Newport News, I'm guessing.
The demographic is very, very strange, and in a sense that, you know, South Beach and Gary, I don't know, you know, if you can attest to this by living in Santa Monica, but it's kind of like just a constant show, right? Everyone is trying to impress the person next to him. Everyone is trying to use the person next to him to leverage themselves. It's like, what can you do for me type of thing, and that's okay, right? But that's just how it is, you know. It's different than Newport News. It's definitely different than the mountains of Virginia where I grew up. So,
well, let me ask you this, like, because it is kind of the same. One of the things I noticed first, I remember I was telling Alexis, is like the whole, like, how much importance people put on, like, their fashion. You know, like, guys dress up no matter what they're doing, where they go. Like, you're used to seeing girls put some effort into it, but, like, sometimes I feel bad just wearing, like, a gray V-neck with some regular black pants, like, you know, and I'm just gonna go walk to the grocery store, and I'm like, man, I feel like I have to have a scarf and some cool hat. Like, if I was single, man, I would fall out of favor quick.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You gotta step that scarf game up, man.
Yeah.
I know.
For those cold winter days in Santa Monica when it's like 55.
60.
It's already started, yeah. But you know what's funny? On the commercials, I remember back in Virginia. Remember that commercial, like, where it's like a dating commercial for, like, country guys or whatever? They're, like, looking for like on the farm or whatever.
That must be a targeted ad. I've never seen that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I see that one all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
how many clicks did it take you to get there? Like, what was that about?
No, this is on TV. Well, out here, I noticed they advertise the dating site for this, like, do you want, like, a country boy thing? Because I guess maybe the girls are just fed up with the guys that are so into themselves. So
yeah,
but yeah, Patrick, it's definitely a scene. So how do you then? Because obviously then people just, especially you, since you're fit, and you know, a lot of times when people are picking their trainer, like, they just go off of looks. So you probably get a lot of clients that are like, just I want to do what you do, or like, And then the thing a lot of people experience when you get into real strength training is maybe it's not as exciting as they thought. So how do you kind of handle that?
It honestly just depends on the clientele that's in front of me. Just as an example, I had this one client, and I don't do necessarily strength training with everyone. I'm not making every client squat, bench, and deadlift. 100% not. I don't want anyone to misinterpret that. But so I had this one client, really awesome guy, but extremely overweight. Okay, extremely overweight, but extremely strong. Like this big. Just imagine this big, huge ball of muscle, right? Honestly, older guy. He's in his 50s, but he's still, doing well for himself. He, one of his biggest accomplishments is he benched like 500 pounds or something at one point in his life. So just a big guy. And so when I first started training him, the first thing I noticed is, okay, this guy's shoulder mobility is absolutely terrible. His hip mobility is absolutely terrible. He can barely move. We're on the mat trying to do some stuff. I'm just trying to get him warmed up, trying to do some like SMR stuff, and he's like struggling to move around. So, the first training session, he's like, oh yeah, let's bench heavy, let's do all this heavy stuff. And I'm like, okay, slow down. You can barely move. Like, look at you trying to, I'm honestly, like, look at you trying to get off the mat. Like, so it's tough because you have these people who, they want to do something specific. He wants to just train heavy. He wants to smash out weights. He doesn't really care what he's doing. He just wants to lift heavy. So it's hard to deal with people like that. And in that situation, what I did is I actually said, okay, we can lift as heavy as you want as long as every set of every exercise, you have a 4-second negative on every single rep.
There you go.
So instantly, and to be honest, this is kind of what happened. After the session, he went and told my manager that he hated it. He was like, I hate that. I want to lift heavy. He's like, I want to try a different trainer. And it just turned out that, the next day we had already scheduled or whatever. And ultimately, he ended up loving it. We still train together. He's a great client of mine. But, with people like that, because he had in his mind that he just wanted to lift heavy. He didn't need to do the mobility stuff. He didn't need any of this stuff. So it's tough because trust me, there's clients like that I'm dealing with all the time. And you guys deal with clients like that as well. But there's just, everyone wants to look better. Everyone wants to be stronger. It's just, so
I think part of it, like some people just get in their heads like what they think they need to get where they want to go, and a lot of times it's just not. It doesn't line up with like reality and the way they should be training.
Yeah.
But I think part of like the art of training is giving people what they want while still getting them to do everything they need to do.
Yep.
So, like, there is always going to be a little compromise, right? Not everything's going to be ideal, so you compromise a little bit so they're happy and they enjoy it, but also making sure that they're going to benefit, because if you had just, like, benched heavy with the guy all the time, he wouldn't have gotten anything out of that. So, like, that was a perfect move to do, like, the 4-second eccentric.
Yeah.
Which was probably super hard for him to do
it was,
on everything.
Yep.
Yeah. And he just wants to do what he's good at.
Yeah.
And you're giving them different tools. We're at our phase of workouts at Coastal now. We're actually having people focus on the eccentric and slow because it's just another way to progress. Like, because you can't progress in more weight forever, So you can do a slower eccentric, and that's another way to progress. It's another tool in the toolbox. And truthfully, it's safer because you naturally won't be able to use as much weight, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
you take all that load off of your joints and everything, but you're still going to get a great training effect, And that's what people have to understand. Like, there's more than one way, and it's best to use them all, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the perfect example of like, pulling a little bit from everything. Like, that's kind of like a bodybuilding thing, right? Whereas like lifting heavy is, powerlifting, why not do a little of both or take different parts of them,
Yeah, exactly.
Just kind of like how, at Coastal, like and when we say strength training, a lot of people think of all the, bench press, squat, deadlift.
Yeah.
But we do kind of the variations of those that are maybe like have a easier learning curve, that are a bit safer, because ultimately if someone gets hurt and can't do anything, like that's the worst case scenario,
Yeah.
So instead of like a bench press, you can, with the barbell, you can use the dumbbells, or the landmine unit, and there's, tons of different variations. So that's what I think is is good for a lot of people to realize that like you take these core components and then you kind of use what works for you in your situation.
Absolutely.
So, but so Will, you got those questions. So we're gonna start on you, Patrick, with some fun questions for our guests.
All right. So we've talked about kind of like your struggle. Really, like, what's your favorite thing so far about Miami? Like, what's different? What do you really like about it? Maybe compared to Newport News or just like the culture there.
Man, it's honestly, I mean, easy answer, but the weather is just insane, man. Like,
yeah,
it's 80 degrees right now, and like it's just like a beautiful day. Imagine like the most perfect day in Newport News. Like, it's pretty much like that every single day.
So like every day in Santa Monica.
Yeah, exactly. And I know the weather. Yeah, exactly. Beautiful days, and that's different for me because I lived in Newport News for 4 years, but I grew up in a super small town in Southwest Virginia, so always cold winters, snow. So for it to be November and to be 80 degrees outside, it feels like it's been the longest summer of my life. So
dope. Yeah. I figured that was going to be the answer.
Yeah.
All right. So next thing, let's go into this. We're going to do just a couple quick questions.
Yep.
Off the top of your head, favorite food, 100%. Like you can only eat one thing for the rest of your life. Like, what are you going with?
Probably tacos.
Ooh,
a good choice. You eat a little bit of everything.
Yeah. But are you gonna have cheese on your tacos?
100%. 100%.
Oh man, I can't wait till Diego listens to this.
Don't put him in the
That'll be good.
Diego's gonna be practicing his breathing drills. Bring his heart rate back down.
Oh yeah, doing his decompression stuff. That's good. That's good. So I did notice too, like you do. I'm guessing, like some bike riding or skateboarding and stuff.
Yep.
How is that down there? I mean, is there just tons of places to do it? You're just out ripping up the streets all the time?
Well, no, man. Actually, so I don't have a car, and that's my transportation is my longboard and my bike. Sometimes it sucks, I got to be honest, because I have about a 2-mile ride. And my bike, I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss on here, but my bike's a piece of shit. It's broke.
You can say whatever you want.
Okay.
It's told the kids to stay.
Yeah, the kids to go somewhere else. So
yeah, so 2 miles on a longboard there and 2 miles on a longboard back that's like 4 miles. And let's say I do it twice in a day, that's 8 miles on a longboard. So my hip flexors, whew.
Damn, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't even
but
think I can ride a longboard down like my street.
it's nerve-wracking. People are flying past you, but I like it. It's fun. I do it recreationally as well. Sometimes I'll go out and ride, but it's honestly consumes very little of my time as it's mostly just a source of transportation.
Okay. All right. Next one. If you had to do one single exercise for the rest of your life, period. You only get one. What would you do?
Probably a straight bar deadlift.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. Get a little everything.
Yeah.
I was expecting a power clean. I'm not gonna lie.
No, probably straight bar deadlift.
Just pick up some heavy shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm digging it. All right, last question. What's a song you're really digging right now?
If you know me, you know I'm always on the run, up early and home late. So having a 3-hour morning routine isn't really in the cards for me. What is in the cards is AG1. It's a fast way to get vitamins and minerals I need to perform. I first gave AG1 a try because I wanted a single solution that helps support my entire body by filling in nutrient gaps and simplifying my morning routine. Since drinking AG1 daily, I've always felt strong and energized and ready to attack the day. Not only does AG1 deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics, and more, it's a powerful, healthy habit that's also powerfully simple. It's 1 scoop mixed in water once a day and every day. I know that AG1 is giving my body high-quality nutrition. Every batch of AG1 goes through a rigorous testing process, so you know that it's safe. And AG1 ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrition density. AG1 is a supplement that I trust to provide the support my body needs daily, and that's why I'm excited to welcome them as a new partner. Here is your chance to start every day this season with a gift to yourself. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/provengrit. That's drinkag1.com/provengrit. Check it out.
New song, something you're just like, you know that song where you play it so much that you hate it in like a month, but like what's that song for you right now that you still enjoy?
Let me see. What's it called? It's called, this is a weird song. You guys can look it up. It's called Brooklyn. No, sorry. It's called I'm On Something by Brooklyn featuring Jocelyn Alice. It's
I'm On Something.
Nice.
Yes, it's called I'm On Something by Brooklyn featuring Jocelyn Alice. So you guys can look that up if you want. It's kind of a weird song, but oops. Yep, that's what it's called.
I'm on something.
You're not into the South Beach club techno music?
Oh
Yeah,
Lord,
that
no! I hear
trumpet
enough of
music.
that. I hear enough of that, man. Gosh, it's everywhere. It's just like they have like a speaker like up in the sky and it plays all the time.
That's awesome.
Oh man. What's been the biggest culture shock about Miami? Like,
I mean, to be honest, there's like, I'm the only American going at any given time. I am the only like, to be honest, like, and it's not like a bad thing at all. But culturally, it was a big shock for me because I don't speak Spanish, and if I go somewhere, I'm usually the only white
guy.
American. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, like my gym, and I said, the demographic is a little bit weird because Equinox South Beach is, again, forgive me, but like 80% gay men.
Wow.
I mean,
So that's my clientele. Like that's the
but-
people I'm training.
So you probably have a lot of business then.
yeah, no. I just want to touch those beautiful locks.
That beautiful blonde hair.
So it's like gay Hispanic men, mostly.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. That's new.
Sounds like the
can't-
type of people that are going to pay some money to train with you. So
Look, Ben's looking up plane tickets as we speak. So the first time I went down to South Beach, so kind of off of that, I went for spring break, and me and a buddy were rolling down the beach. We've been working out, feeling good about ourselves, and we're strutting, and then all of a sudden we see there's like 90 dudes on the beach, and they're all like catcalling and everything, and I was just like, oh man, like. Hey, I guess we're doing something right because gay guys, like, they have really high standards,
Yeah.
So, but then we look up and we found, like, I guess it was like the weekend of a parade and stuff. So
Yeah.
it was a little more than the normal concentrated, and but we got a good laugh out of it. And
they're all
some
jazzed up and ready.
some free
That's what it
drinks.
was.
That's the best part. You get free drinks and stuff too. So.
Definitely.
You just got to hope those drinks are.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You don't want to get Bill
Like-
Cosby, Like,
It's a different world.
yeah, it is.
So Patrick, the question I wanted to hear,
Okay.
Will didn't throw out there was, what is your spirit animal?
Oh Lord.
Big beat, man.
I don't know, man. Like honestly, I got asked this a while ago, and my answer to the question was a shark. And why I said that was I don't know, because I'm terrified of sharks. Like I'm completely terrified of sharks. But the reason I said it was because they're kind of very elusive, in my opinion, and I feel that I'm fairly elusive, in a sense that like. I don't know. Some days I'm here, some days I'm there. My mind kind of wanders, and I feel like sharks. We never know where they are. We can't see them. So that was kind
Okay.
of yeah.
So follow up. Would you ever go swimming with sharks to face your fear?
Man, I think I would probably do it in a like a controlled environment.
So
yes.
like they have the cage and you get into the
Yes,
cage and all that.
yes.
You would do that.
Is
I
there
would-
a
I would
controlled
do that.
environment with a shark?
I mean, I think as controlled as you can like try to be.
Yeah,
you
as
know,
as
at the end of the
controlled
day,
as
it's
you
still
can
a
be.
shark.
Yeah. But yeah, sharks scare me, man. They've always terrified me, to be honest.
So is it because like you never know like if they're there or
Yeah,
not?
exactly. It's a huge creature that we can't see, and I don't know if one's 5 feet away from me or if one is right under my feet at that given second. So that's why they scare me.
Fear of the unknown. That's
Yeah.
what
I
that
don't
is.
like it. I don't like
Yeah.
it.
I think we should do a coastal trip. We all get into a shark cage and just
you
like
can-
let's
so you can
do
last
it. Let's
long
face
enough.
our fears.
Let me ask you this.
Cosby.
Bill Cosby by a Hispanic gay man.
Yeah. Or Sammy Sosa. Speaking of, I'm sorry, like to just derail, but have y'all seen Sammy Sosa?
Yeah,
He showed me a picture
let's
of this
talk
guy,
about-
and I can't get over it. I can't even.
So before the show, we were just talking, and Gary brought up Sammy Sosa, and then come to find out, this like rich mahogany colored Dominican baseball player is now like as white as paper.
Probably still rich, but not mahogany.
Yeah, like he's like a rich ivory now. And I don't know what happens to somebody that makes them go from one to the other, but it's just like insane. He's like a full-fledged like white man now.
You gotta take a look at that.
Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen it, look up Sammy Sosa, and you'll go down a nice rabbit hole like I did. But yeah, check it out, and you probably won't believe what you're gonna
If
see.
you have any ideas about how to reverse the process, I'm interested in joining the MLB.
Yeah.
And would happily reverse the process. Try it out.
So there's that.
Old Sammy. Well, taking it back to the sharks, though, real quick. So, Patrick, you mentioned you were afraid of sharks, but are you more afraid of cougars?
Ooh.
Because Ben, you remember when we first brought Patrick on
man.
onto the
Oh
gym?
Lord.
Good
It
Lord.
was strong. They caught the scent of a young cub. That was it.
How many people came up to you and asked like, who's the new guy? Is he single? Like,
Oh, it's like
what's-
it was like
what's his-
multiple per class. Just
Until
like,
everyone found out how old he
Excuse
was.
me, miss. He's 20 years old. Like, listen.
Like
you gotta-
you're preying on this young boy. Like you can't even buy a drink yet.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Patrick, he's a massive man. He definitely looks like he can move a lot of weight too. So when he walks in the room, he doesn't look like a cub.
But he's
But-
got that just beautiful
I mean-
that beautiful hair.
Yeah.
That's what pulls people in.
The funny thing is we're making him uncomfortable, and that's the best part is like is how uncomfortable these women would
Yeah,
make 'em.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
if that happened to me when I was 20, like
I don't
even know how I would've reacted.
I don't know.
Jesus.
I might have not been able to come back.
I would have just shut down and never showed up again.
Yeah.
Somehow he just like braved through it and just kept
Peed my
showing
pants
up.
in public. That kind of thing. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I don't know, I made it through somehow.
Yeah.
Well,
There
that's
for a
why-
while. There for a
Is that
while, I
why-
thought I was gonna get dragged down under, But
I thought you were too. Like it was. Like I was starting to get worried about
You
you.
were gonna leave. You were gonna be. You end up in a basement.
That's why you went to South Beach. It's just easier to deal with the guys than it is the girls.
yeah, looking for a sugar mama.
I remember when you first came in for your interview, and then and you were like super smart and awesome, and I was like, this is gonna be a problem. Like, but oh well.
It worked out. It was good.
Yeah.
Springboarded to Miami.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Now
so
look
it
at you.
worked out.
Do you miss now that school's over and you're kind of like into training and stuff? Do you miss all the learning? Like, because you were an exercise science major, right? Or
I was actually like pre-med.
Pre-med?
So, yeah. So, but no, I definitely miss the learning. And there for a while, I thought, right up until I moved, I thought that I was going to be going to school online and doing like a whole master's, trying to, but I kind of came to the realization that I don't need that degree in order to like. Yes, it might leverage my career a little bit, but the relationships that I build and things like that will probably leverage me a lot more than that piece of paper that I paid a lot of money for that says, I have a master's. So, but no, I definitely miss the structured learning. I still am doing like lots of research and studying all this different stuff currently. But yeah, structured learning and actually having like a curriculum, I do kind of miss that some.
Yeah, and in this industry, like everyone already knows like enough like training and nutrition.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
what is more importantly is that psychology and connecting with people and learning why people maybe do or don't do certain things. Like that's what's really going to help your clients the most, you know?
Yep.
So,
one like huge thing that I've kind of like realization almost is that as fitness professionals, and all of us, you know, we are in the entertainment industry, and believe it, you know, whether you think of that or not, like we're constantly, when we're training, when we're coaching, we're on a pedestal. We're speaking to people, we're entertaining these people. They don't care, honestly, some of them do, but they don't care the exact precise form of the lateral raise, of the turning of the thumb, and all this stuff. You know, we're entertaining. We're putting on a show for these people that we're coaching, that we're training, and at the end of the day, you know, that's kind of a huge realization that I've made since I've been here. Is it's not necessarily about the information or the coaching. Any trainer, you know, a trainer could be 10 times worse or better than, you know, any of us. But if he's better at entertaining, or, you know, just a better speaker or whatever than you or me, then he's going to be doing better or worse. So that's a big thing, you know, just being able to entertain and just being, you know.
I think it comes down to like being able to captivate somebody, and like really it's more about like most of us know like all the information, like Gary said. Like, nothing's really that new. Like, this stuff every once in a while. Yeah. But it's like, how do I get this person, for one, to enjoy this? Two, to like be actively engaged. You know, you could know all the information and know all the right cues and all this stuff and be the most boring person ever. And people aren't going to want to train with you. So that there's a huge it's a huge thing with that. Like people do need to be entertained. You know, not everybody is like us and then can train and do the boring shit.
Exactly.
And the stuff like they know they need to do, but most people won't do. Most people, like, they just gotta have fun so they can move around a little bit and get a little better. That's really kind of what it boils down to.
Yeah, and that's the exact reason we do a podcast. That's our form of entertainment, but you don't have to look at us. So, exactly. But Patrick, on the other hand, since we've been hyping him up, he actually has a very entertaining YouTube channel. So you know, you got to see the person. You want to kind of share that with everyone for people who aren't aware of the.
Sure. So, yeah, I have a YouTube channel, and you can. It's youtube.com/PatBurnsWho. And the reason, let me just briefly explain. The reason I decided to start making YouTube videos that were less fitness related was because I had a fitness YouTube channel. I was making videos and they were getting no views, like literally. I love making video content. I love just creating content in general, and it's very, very popular. It's a way to, you know, build rapport with people who don't actually know you, and I see a lot of value in that. So I started making videos when I got down here, and they're more based around just entertaining people. Someone wants to laugh, someone wants to see what I'm doing in Miami. You know, that's kind of what the video content is for currently. And it has provided me with some benefit. You know, I've gotten a couple clients from it. Someone's come up to me and said, "Hey, I saw your video. It was really, really funny. I really liked it. You know, I think, you know, I want to train with you," or whatever. And it's worked to my advantage. And it is a little bit, not embarrassing, I wouldn't say, but, you know, I'm putting myself out there. You know, people can see into my life. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, you know, it has helped me, and I encourage, if you're a fitness professional, if, you know, any of these guys, they're making podcasts, I make YouTube videos, it's all the same thing. We're just trying to leverage ourselves, you know, using it to reach more people to help our careers. So
yeah, and it's that human connection.
Yep.
You know, it's not just like, oh, well, like, this is a page I saw on Facebook, and it's really just that. It's like, oh man, like, I've seen these guys talk in videos, and I listen to their podcasts, and it's just like the humanization, so it allows you to connect better with people. Exactly. That's really what it is. You know, like, we could post as many pictures as we want, but nothing does better than like one of us just talking in a video about whatever. So yeah, it's like getting that, you know, hearing a voice, or just seeing like, oh man, this guy's a person, and then they learn about you on your YouTube channel, and you're making connections already without them having met you. So when they do come up to you, you have somebody that's like, oh, I saw your YouTube channel, and they're already warmed up to you. So
exactly.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, getting people to know, like, and trust, you know, like that's the challenge, you know, and I've talked about this with you guys before, like in-person training when I first started out was always, it was so simple and easy because if people like you, like that's the first step, right? And then as you kind of grow your audience, then it's harder to get people to really know or like you. So you have to put yourself out there, and that's the thing. Like people don't care. They trust that you have the right, the right information, but they want to, enjoy you as a person, so like putting that, what some people may think is like silly stuff, like that's though like how people know you're human and that they would want to work with you and spend time with you and have you coach them and do everything. It's just as important. And whether you have the super sciencey people that are hardcore into the details of everything, but what they don't realize is that ultimately if no one knows who you are or likes you, like you're not going to be able to help anyone because they don't want to work with you.
Yep. And that's really quick. One podcast, I'm not going to name it, of somebody who's like pretty prominent, I guess, in the powerlifting, nutrition type world. He's got like a PhD, whatever. Super smart guy, but like I listen to his podcast and he's like a complete dick. And I don't want to listen to his podcast because of that. Like he's terrible at connecting to people. Mm-hmm. And so like it's really important even for people who are like high profile to like be able to connect with people. Like he's really annoying to listen to on a podcast, and so like I don't really want to hear anything he ever has to say. Yeah. Period. So that's kind of important. You have to be likable and be able to get along with people and be able to talk to people and communicate well in order to get anywhere with people. Yeah.
You know what I want to see?
What's that?
I want to see a YouTube channel of Ben. Ben, do you think that would hurt or help your brand?
Yeah, world's not ready.
But like, what would the channel be? Like, would it just be like just Ben, like through his day, but then dubbed over with his internal monologue?
Well, without the internal monologue, I look like a normal person. Everyone thinks, I just go to the gym, I have appointments, watch football
until you see like the deep internalization in the way Ben thinks about every aspect of his life and analyzes everything.
Once you know why, you can never go back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get the why when you get that intrinsic.
I don't know, man. I like your blog, your YouTube video, man. I kind of aspire for that type of life, man. The shit you run into, and like, that's kind of. I don't know if I could top that. It'd be that interesting.
Yeah.
You just got to put yourself out there, though, right?
It'd make you more sad than anything to watch mine versus
just Ben eating beef and rice.
Yeah,
but it makes everyone else feels better, though. They're like, man, I'm really living the dream.
Yeah.
Oh man! Or Ben eating cold turkey breast with his hands.
Yeah.
Practicing movement techniques on his dog.
Dude, I've been actually working on her. I'm not gonna say it works, man.
Dude,
even little puppies, it works. It's pretty.
Ben was doing his gait analyst, and that's when they were out here, and then I just like jokingly was like, oh, what about Arnie? We were walking the dog, and then he like literally kind of goes into staying on dogs and like depending on what side the leash is on and how he's tried on his dog and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Hey man, you know what? We all got bodies, muscles, and brains, and that's all you need. That's all you need to make a movement pattern. It definitely isn't sexy. It is hard to, like you were saying that earlier. I didn't really interject, but like it's hard to really tell people like, yes, you do want this, because they think, oh no, I want to look better, I want to feel confident, but really they want to feel good in their own skin.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, you can't breathe right, you can't move right, you're not going to feel good in your own skin, even if you like that six-pack looking back at you. Like, you can move 500 pounds. And that's why, giving them what they need, a little bit of movement, a little bit of lifting, a little bit of entertainment, and that consistency over time is really, it's what they're after. At 22, you're figuring that out. I mean, shit.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm always jealous of Patrick. Like,
oh, man.
How much he knows at such a young age.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Damn, when I was 22, shit. What was I doing?
What were you doing?
I mean, apparently fucking up my shoulders. So
I was in a $3,000 like live-in van touring around the Midwest playing disc golf when I was 22.
I think I was just graduating college.
The disc golf tour?
Yeah, sleeping in a van. and going from tournament to tournament. Save some money.
Trying to get on that pro circuit.
Oh, I was on the pro circuit. But yeah,
Get out of here.
that was the pro circuit.
A live-in van.
It doesn't surprise me. Like, you just said that. I've never heard that about you, and I'm like, okay.
You know about that van?
No.
It makes
Okay.
perfect sense.
Okay.
I feel like once you've done that, like, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Like, any situation is all right for you.
I'll be all right.
Like, if you were in the water with sharks, I think you would be.
Oh,
I think you'd be better than most people. You know, like, you're a survivor.
I hope we'll never find out.
I hope we'll never find out. You know what though? Like, I'm pushing for this. Our next outing as a group of coaches might involve sharks. So
No.
Nah, I'm
last time
good.
was Austin City Limits. Next one's gonna
It
be
involves Miami,
shark
though,
diving.
mate. You know, if we're going to Miami.
I mean, hey, if we can make a
cost.
Miami trip out of it, we get to see Patrick, go get in a cage with some sharks,
Yeah, you guys have a place
get
to
hit
stay.
on by some Mexican gay dudes.
Yeah.
Excuse me, not Mexican, Hispanic,
Yeah,
Cuban.
Hispanic,
Yeah.
everything.
It's
Yeah.
Cuban, right? Cuban.
Yeah.
They're everything.
Probably, a little bit of
Piss off the whole demographic.
Guatemalan.
We're gonna have to practice
Nicaraguan.
our dancing moves.
Yeah, I got to get with Diego, and maybe he can help us out.
Yeah.
He just has those Latin hips.
Diego's our secret weapon.
He is. Absolutely.
But Ben, thinking back, you remember when you were a trainer at Anytime Fitness for that?
Anytime, yeah.
Can you think about how then you fell in love with training because of the science of it and learning the body and all that.
Yeah.
Can you
yeah.
imagine now seeing that blend of what you just mentioned it takes to be successful as far as entertainment and giving people what they want, what they need?
Yeah.
Do you ever think back to that, how, and I do this too, how naive you were
Well,
starting?
yeah. I mean, without, and I'm not ashamed to admit that at all. Without Coastal, I mean, I would have turned into a doctor's office, a wannabe doctor's office, and tried to train people one-on-one, like fixing their skeletons. I mean, it would have been very, very boring. And while maybe the information even would have been good, I would have reached no one and puttered out.
Sounds familiar.
I mean,
sounds familiar.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it definitely was the path, especially when it comes to what I'm interested in, what I enjoy. That's where it would have led me, and I would have impacted no one.
Yep. But the cool thing is, once you get people to like you and know you, then the relationship deepens, and you eventually get them to want to know more of what you have to offer, and then impact them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and that's what young Patrick is already knows.
Yeah.
So.
It took me a long time to realize it's not the information.
Yeah.
And you just wonder, why isn't this person doing what I tell them to do?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that was the hardest thing for me to come to terms with. It's more about how do I get this person to do what they need to do, rather than here's all this awesome information that you don't know how to use. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that wraps up this episode of SpongeBob.
I think
What do y'all
so.
think?
Let's kick it over to Ben. Ben, what's your song of the day today? What do you?
One. You know what? It's not. I didn't even think about. I actually thought we were gonna be with, I guess, Andrew, but that's next week, whatever. So, but no, this one's called Southtown, but which is not South Beach, but it's close. A little bit harder than I usually go, but I've been digging these guys. You guys might remember them. POD, Southtown. Play a little bit for you here. It's pretty raw, pretty rough. Just good old rock from 2006.
This
or
is like
something?
that angry rock from
yeah,
high school.
whatever Southtown they're referring to, they're struggling through, fighting through every day for sure.
Fighting through the disc golf journey.
It definitely it's probably about the same time too, which is fun. Close to. Maybe a little before, but.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
They ain't ready.
Okay.
Nope. You didn't know.
They ain't ready. I can see Patrick.
Yeah.
His hair
headbanging.
flying.
Yeah,
Oh
headbanging.
yeah. Patch have hair for this.
I could headbang to this.
Yeah.
Would you
So-
ever have you ever thought about cutting the hair? Is that even a decision? Does that come into your mind? Especially
No.
that hot heat.
Honestly, it really hasn't. It's kind of a part of who I've branded myself around, and I'll probably cut it eventually at some point in my life. But thinking
It's like
on,
You say that,
like
but it's
Will's
like my
beard.
beard. Yeah,
Yeah.
People are like, oh, are you ever gonna cut it? I'm like, damn, I don't ask you if you're gonna shave your head.
yeah,
This is part of me.
yeah, exactly.
It's almost like part of my personality. There's an attachment to it.
Yeah,
So yeah, I feel you. You don't ever have to cut your hair, Patrick. Just let it grow like Rapunzel.
yeah. I might have to.
Rapunzel. So with that, we'll leave you guys. So if y'all need some more over the next week, you can hit up Patrick's YouTube page. We'll put a link. We'll put a link in our blog so you can entertain yourself. Then also, so if you're in South Beach, now you know who your trainer can be.
Yep.
And if you're in Virginia, you can hit up Coastal Strength and Fitness, or also reach out. We also do some online stuff as well. So again, just feel free to email us, social media us, and start a conversation. We just ultimately want to help people. So all of us, Patrick included, and we'll catch you on the flip side here.
Later.
Take care, guys.
Holla.